Okay, well, as you can see by my fingers, I have had adventures in dyeing. I accidentally got into some yellow. Anyway, I was trying to make the brown darker. Totally forgot that I had this black ribbon. Excuse me, and I should have just used it in the first place. So what I've done here is I've laid out this much, and I haven't cut it. Okay, so I'm going to glue this onto here. Then I'm going to calculate exactly how much, and then I'm going to cut it off of this big bundle that I have right here. And it's just told me my prescriptions are on the way. That was good timing. So let's find the center, and we'll glue enough on there. Now you don't want to put your glue too far out because your paper's only going to go this far. So make sure you leave enough inside that's going to grab your ribbon enough, because you're not going to be gluing it all the way to the edge. Okay, so let's put some glue in here. I know it's hard to see because I've been working with the cover a little bit too to get it to fold a little bit better. Okay, get that glued down. I might have gotten a little carried away with the glue. This glue doesn't take very long to dry, and this sheer ribbon does not stop it from drying as if it was out in the open air. Okay. I'm going to take how much I think I'm going to need, and always give yourself extra. Remember, you're going to be tying a bow. So I'm going to say that much. So I'm going to cut it the length, the full length, not in half. And then I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to glue on the other side. It won't matter, we're cutting it apart. So it won't matter about it being flipped over, flipped back, or whatever. Okay, so we want it to be straight. So that means we're going to be gluing it right here. I know I'm crazy. Just don't get the rest of the ribbon in it. Not that dry. Moving it out a little bit. Okay, we're just gonna sit here and watch glue dry. I know that seems fun. Then we're going to close the book. See, it's still going to be close for tying a bow, even though it seems like a lot. We're going to close the book, pull this out straight, and then that's where we're going to cut it. We're going to cut it right in half. Make sure this is lined up. Pull this straight out, tip it this way, and cut it straight in half. Then you can cut your little angle on here if you like. And then you should have enough to tie it shut. Okay. Now, we're going to glue our inner papers on. Remember, they're directional, so we want to make sure they're both in the same direction. So we're going to glue these on. Seems weird to have yellow fingers. Looks weird against the brown. Okay, we're going to do the other side. You can mark top if you need to. I usually do. But I'm going to fly it crazy. Try to not slide it too much with the glue on it in the areas you're going to see, because then you'll have those little shiny glue trails. Okay, so I think that looks good. All right, now we're going to decide what we're going to do with the cover. Are we going to sew them in, or are we going to elastic them in? I think that in the interest of time and the way my hands feel right now, I think we're going to glue the covers on. Let's see how this is going to be for tying it shut. Oh yeah, it's going to be all right. Hasn't been trained yet. As you can see, I'm having trouble even just tying this. The thing about putting the elastic on is I can come back in a separate video and show you how to sew them in. Like I said, I've sewn them in plenty of tutorials. Okay, so that's going to work just fine. Okay, now this is going to be my front cover. This is going to be my, no, this is my front cover. Let's make sure. Okay, front cover, top side. Because our thing is directional, so we don't want our pattern to be upside down on the inside, related to the outside. Okay, we want to put this one on right side up as well. You want to evenly space them from the edges. Okay, so now there's our front cover, and I was thinking when the time comes that we might put this bat right over the top of that bat, and then raise his little wings up a little bit. Because you want to be able to read this. I'd like to, I don't have any. I could dye some, I guess. Some black roses. You know, maybe one in each corner. I'll have to wait and see. I'm going to put you on pause until my hands feel a little bit better. And then I will come back this afternoon. And we will sew these puppies in. Okay? All right. I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay. The camera didn't click. So, this is what we're going to do. I made a third signature because just two was not going to fill it up. This third signature that's going to go in the middle, it's just writing pages, except for the one in the center. But all the rest of it is writing pages, and we're going to put it in with an elastic. So whoever uses the book can write in the middle and then take those pages out and then use this cover to put new pages in and then write some more. Okay, so that's what this one's for. So now to sew these in, I'm going to go ahead and give it a whirl. We're going to want to divide this 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch spine into the quarters. Okay, at the top. Now you'll notice where I made a mistake. It's fine when it's normal, you know, like in its regular position that you would use it in. However, there is not enough glue in between here. When I put this backing paper on, I should have put glue down in here. And then when I ran the bone folder over it, it would have stuck this to it. And then when you lay it flat, you wouldn't get this bubbling. Okay? So I poke my holes through from the outside to the center. And the reason I do that is because when you poke it through, it pushes the material through and it leaves a mark. or, you know, the material pushes through. I don't know how else to describe it. So, you have to try to make the hole the smallest that you can get away with and still sew through it. And then B, you want to try to flatten it but still be able to sew through it. Okay, so we're going to want to make the cord is going to go through here. So I'm using chalk because we can erase it off of the black. So we're going to want to go 1 inch in, 1 inch down. This ruler's kind of fat. This ruler may work a little better for this. So we want to go 1 inch down. We can go 1 inch down, 1 inch up. Center. Let's go 3/4 of an inch down. All right. I think I'm better. See, that's the thing about this ruler is they go in an 1/8 before they start. So we're going to have 1/4, 1/2, 1/4. And it does not look right. It's because of this. It's throwing it off, the measuring. Let's see. I'm just going to, you'll notice I sharpened this to a very good point. Okay. Looks like our spine might be crooked. This bubbling here is really giving me a hard time. I really don't want to do it from the inside. Okay, so now let's go 3/4 of an inch in, and make a mark. Then we'll go 3/4 of an inch in, 2, 3, and make a mark. And then we'll find the center. Now, this is where this zeroing ruler comes in handy. Except for the fact that this is all in black and we're working on black. But for the time being. You can measure out from the center and find the center of the width you're working with. So I'm working between this dot, and I want to find the center. So when I'm looking down at it, I've got 3/4 of an inch, 1 3/4 on this side, and pretty darn much 1 3/4 on this side. So I'm going to move it just a little bit, a 1/16 maybe. And I'm going to mark this right here as the center. Then I'm going to take my ruler straight across. I'm going to make another mark. I'm going to go straight across And I'm going to make another mark. I'm going to go straight across. And I'm going to make another mark. These are the places we're going to put the holes. Okay? So we can erase this in between. And this across the top. The reason I do that is it's a little bit harder to erase them when they're underneath the threads. So I erase the center ones at the time. Okay, so now I've just got this. Anything above and below we can, you know, clean up. Okay, so now to make the holes, you want to put this on something that when you poke it, it's not going to go all the way through and damage your surface. This is a little bit of overkill, but I couldn't find one in between. I have a real thin one, and then I had this one, but I didn't have one in between. So I'm going to need to cut this down. So you're going to take your pokey tool or your awl. This one makes a little bit bigger hole. You can see because it's bigger around. However, it does graduate less. This goes pretty quickly from here to here. So that's the difference. And then this tool is shorter and it gets really fat really quick. Okay? So when you're working with a small book, I don't think I would use that. However, this is handy. The main two that I use is this one from Lisa and the one from We Are Memory Keepers. The good thing about an awl, though, is it has this to help you when you're holding on. All right, so all we're going to do is we're going to poke a hole. That would be why it's called a pokey tool. And poke a hole through the book at the spot where our dot. We want to make sure that it's big enough around to sew through, but we don't want it giant. Okay. I'm going to make another hole at the intersection. My crazy hands. And another hole at the intersection. That seems, well, that's large. If I'm going to make a mistake on one, I guess you're going to have to make it on the others, eh? They're going to have to look the same. When you're looking at this going, well, that looks great. It actually, for my hands, is probably better. That they come out a little bit bigger. So now, this center one is a little crooked. But you'll see on the inside, can you see this? Where it pushed through, how it leaves the rough part. Now, once we sew it, we can push it back in, but we don't want to do that yet. So now we've got our holes. We can put our cork back on our pokey tool before we hurt ourselves. Then we're going to get out something we can see against this, which I would think regular pencil would work. And we're going to lay this up against here. Now, this is going to be the first one, so we're going to lay it up against these holes. There's just a little bit of difference. So we want to make sure that we line the right one up with the one we want. So we're going to want to poke the holes in the signatures at the same spot. That would be handy. And I want to mark where the top of my signature is, because I want it to be the same on both. Okay? You don't want to sew one in here and then the other one over there. The easiest way is to take one signature and mark the next. Well, this one's not getting holes. Okay, so we've got our 3 marks. Just lay this one on top of that one. And where those marks are, make sure they're even. Then make the same marks here. I apologize if the top of my head is in the camera, but I can't see. Remember, there's going to be a hole there, so don't panic. Okay, now you're going to open this up. And I just want you to know, when you're just making one of these, it doesn't take as long as it does when I'm explaining it to you. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to poke holes in it. I wonder... And even though your mark is on the side, poke your hole in the center where the fold is. This one's off just a little bit. Make sure, hold it up to the light, and make sure you got all 3. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to sew through that, so I'm going to have to make mine a little bit bigger. Which means, as we all know, there's more going to poke in on the inside. For example, let me get some more of those little clips. They come in very handy. Okay, now we want to make sure they stay lined up. So we're going to clip them. Okay, now this one we don't need it. So now this one we're going to line up with this here, because this is the side we're going to sew it in on. In case there's a little bit of a difference, we're going to line this with this, so that we know for sure that our signatures are even at the top. I've done this before and had them not be even. Okay, I'm double checking where my lines are. It looks pretty good. I'm going to open these up and lay them out flat. Alright, I'm going to clip it. This is the top. If you clip them all at the top, then you know which way you're going. I've also sewn a signature in upside down. It's not the end of the world. You can just clip the threads and do it again. But it's easier if you only have to do it once. All right. We need to get a needle. Get one that's going to fit through the hole, but it's also going to take your thread. Then go 1, 2, 3, and then I give it a bit. I'm just going to sew one in on camera to show you how to do it. Then I'll sew the other one in, and then we'll put the elastic on, and we'll put that Death Head's moth on the cover, and then I will let you decide how you're going to you know, do the rest. Now, you do not tie a knot. It's not like sewing your pants. Now, we've got our cover on, so let's make sure this bat hangs upside down, so it's a little misleading. But let's make sure that we have everything lined up correctly. So I actually, looking at the bat, I marked these, or I clipped these incorrectly. Now let me look. This page is upside down. Let's see which one it is. These are all right side up. So that means this one is upside down. Let's hope it doesn't make a difference with our holes. It's probably because of the bat. Alright, so this is the top. And that's the top. And this goes in the second one. This is the first signature. So we're going to go out through the middle. And go through this one and then go through all of these. There we go. Out through the middle. The problem I always have is that the hole ends up too big. Okay, and then we're going to leave a good sized tail because you're going to tie the knot with that. If you want, you can clip it so it doesn't move and you don't lose it. Then you're going to go back up the top. And you're going to go back through your book. Ow, I poked myself already. Okay. Yeah, that's too much. And you're going to go back out through the center and not through the center of the thread you've already got there. Okay. This is called a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Now, I see that I'm going to have extra. So while I can, and I can see right now that I went through the center of this thread. So this will give me a chance to give myself a little bit more here. The more times you have to go through, though, the bigger the holes get. It was apparently a fluke. Huh. Or not. All right, so we're going to go back through the center. That was where I had caught it, was right here. It takes me longer to do this than almost anyone else, in case you're wondering. Okay, back up through the center. Make sure you're pulled tight. Back up through the bottom, or up through the bottom. And then all you have to do is tie these together. And it is easier to do it while the needle is still on it. And I recommend tying it 3 times. Sorry about that. And this is going to be too loose, but you get the idea. I'll take it out and fix it off camera. All right, so then you're going to do the same thing on this one. Oh, see, I can see right there. That's where it got pulled. Yeah. See how long that is? It got caught. It got caught there. Yes, and I'm going to have to cut another piece and sew it again. Okay. All right, so I'll sew these 2 in off camera, but you see how to do it. Or you see how not to do it, either way. And you'll see now that I'm on the 3rd try, these holes are getting pretty big in the center, and it's not going to look very nice. That's why I actually like doing the elastic better, but of course the pages come out looser and it doesn't look as nice either. So, all right, I'm going to put you on hold, and then we're going to come back in just a minute. Well, you'll be happy to know that I sewed this one in like with no problems whatsoever, and it was because the camera was off, I'm sure. Now remember, this is going to get used to being closed the longer it's closed, and so you know what I mean, it won't do this. So this almost would have been enough if we'd sewn them closer in, but I really don't think so. So I'm glad that we left the room in the middle. Okay, left the room in the middle for our elastic band. Now, we want the elastic to be tight enough that the pages will stay in, but not so tight that we destroy our top and our bottom, because we didn't make a super thick spine I was not anticipating using an elastic. Okay. Sometimes, I don't know if this is going to be one of those times, but sometimes it's easier to tie it from the outside when all the pages are not in the way. Am I doing this off camera? I probably am. All I'm doing is running it around the outside, bringing it to the center, and tying it. And it actually doesn't matter where you tie it because you can just slide it. Okay, and that third little knot never hurts anything. Now, you have a choice. You can leave this on the outside. Okay, or you can put it in the center. I kind of like it on the outside. Totally up to you. All right, so then in the center of the book, we're going to take our writing pages. We're going to open them up to the center, and we're just going to slide them through the elastic. Simple as that. Okay, we've got our elastic in the center. We've got our two sewn in signatures. This one is still loose. Remember, I need to take it out and redo it. And then you're going to put all your ephemera inside, probably more. I am going to tie this. And then I want to put the Death Head's moth on the cover at least. I'm trying to tie it extra tight because I'm trying to train the cover. Okay. I think it turned out really cute. All right, I was going to put a bat on top of the bat, but I'm just going to cover the bat with the Death Head's moth because I like it better. So the first thing I'm going to do, though, well, if I glue him down all the way, it won't matter, but I am still going to ink the back side of him just in case any kind of edge or anything. Aren't you happy how quick the elastic went? I'm so sorry about the sewing. I tried to tell you guys that my hands just don't quite work as quick as other people's. Okay. I'm wondering. It's just inking all the way across. There we go. Looks kind of cool like that. Anyway, let's turn him around before we rip his little antennae off. Oh, of course I left a clip out. And you know, these are to cover for words, so all you have to do, there's Halloween words with this kit. I just didn't print them out because it was a whole page of them, and I wasn't going to make the bigger book, so I didn't need them. There's this smaller bat. There's some smaller tags. I didn't shrink any of these down. I really like this one. It matches the guy on the first signature. I tried to make this the front of the second signature, but it was on the wrong side of the page. So when I folded it in half, it ended up being the back page. That's totally fine. When you're done with the book, there he is. Okay? All right. So that's that. And you're just going to do that to, you know, to your taste or whatever. These tags, you're going to punch holes in and put some of these black ribbons on. Make sure they stick out of the top. Things like that. It's just this has gone way over. Way, way over. Okay. We'll put our Death Head's moth on. I think it looks so much cooler than the bat. And I'll probably come back and put some glossy accents on the skull so that it's all shiny and, you know. Okay. So that is our teeny weeny Halloweeny book. You can add any more, any additional decorations that you want. Get all this out of the way. You can put the string around to the inside if that's what you want to do. The tie, I kind of like the tie on the outside. And that's it. All tied up, all sewn up, all ready to go. Okay? All right then. I will see you guys in the next video series. And that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Bye-bye.